Hey everyone! Today we are diving deep into one of the most popular ways to study down under, the Subclass 500 student visa. If you've been dreaming about that Australian adventure, this guide is for you.
So have you ever pictured yourself hitting the books in Sydney or maybe Melbourne? Honestly, anywhere across Australia. If that's a yes, then you're in exactly the right place. The Subclass 500 visa is your golden ticket. But let's be real, the whole process can look a little, intimidating at first glance.
But don't you worry, that's why we're here. Our whole goal today is to slice through all that complexity and make things crystal clear. We're going to walk you through the entire thing, step by step, using information straight from the official sources.
Okay, so first things first. What is this visa really? And what does it actually allow you to do? Let's dig into the fundamentals.
This visa really offers a fantastic balance. The main reason for it, of course, is to let you enroll in a proper registered course, but it also gives you the flexibility to travel and, this is a big one, to work part-time. We're talking up to 48 hours every 2 weeks while your classes are running. All right, let's talk about the investment. The base application fee kicks off from around 2,000 Australian dollars. Now, that doesn't include other things like health exams, so keep that in mind. And in return, you get to stay for the entire length of your course, for up to a maximum of 6 years.
Okay, so with the basics out of the way, let's get into the hurdles you'll need to clear. These are the absolute non-negotiable requirements that you've got to meet.
Think of this as your foundational checklist. You absolutely must be enrolled in what's called a CROCOS registered course. That's just the official government list of courses for international students. You'll also need very specific health insurance, and you've got to meet all the standards for age, welfare, health, and character.
Let's just focus on OHSC for a second. That's Overseas Student Health Cover. I really want to stress this. This is not optional travel insurance. It's mandatory health cover you have to get from an approved Australian provider, and it has to cover your entire stay. Not having this is an absolute deal breaker for your application, period.
All right, now for the part that usually involves the most paperwork, proving that you can actually support yourself financially and, of course, that you've got the English skills you need.
This is the big question the Department of Home Affairs is going to be asking. You have to provide them with solid evidence that you have genuine access to enough funds to cover your tuition, your travel, and all your living costs. So what's the magic number? Well, for a single student, the government says you need to prove you can access at least 29,710 Australian dollars. This amount is specifically calculated to cover your living costs for the first 12 months.
And if you've got a partner coming with you, you'll need to add an extra $10,394 on top of that to cover their living expenses for the year.
And for every child you bring along, you have to account for an additional $4,449 for their annual costs too. As you can probably see, these costs can add up pretty quickly.
So to figure out your grand total, it's pretty much a 4-part sum. You start with your travel costs, add 12 months of living costs for everyone on the application, throw in your first year of course fees, and finally add any school fees for your kids. That final number is the figure you need to prove you have access to. Now, let's talk about the English language requirement, and this is critical, so listen up. The rules are changing. If you're planning to take your test on or after August 7th, 2025, you are going to be facing a different set of required scores. Here's a quick look at the old minimums versus the new ones. While the IELTS score is staying at a 6.0, you can see other tests are shifting. For example, the TOEFL IBT score is jumping from 64 up to 67. The most important thing here is to double, even triple check the requirements that apply based on the exact date you take your test.
So you've checked your eligibility, you've sorted out all your financial and English proofs, now it is time to actually submit the application. This is the home stretch.
Here is your application roadmap. First, you organize any health exams you need. Next, you gather all your documents, and trust me, the government's online checklist tool is going to be your absolute best friend here. Then, you lodge the application online through your IME account. And finally, you wait for the decision.
And I really want to pause on this warning because it comes directly from the Department of Home Affairs. What this means is that accuracy is everything. A single missing document could get your application tossed out as invalid. And that doesn't just jeopardize this visa, but it could impact any future visas you want to apply for. It really pays to be meticulous.
Okay, fast forward. Congratulations, your visa has been granted. That's amazing. But what happens now? Let's quickly cover what you need to know about your rights and responsibilities while you're actually living in Australia.
Understanding your work rights is absolutely essential, especially for your budget. While your course is in session, you're capped at 48 hours per fortnight. But, and this is a huge opportunity, during your official course breaks, like over the summer, you can work unlimited hours. Keep that in mind.
Your student visa has an end date. If you want to stay in Australia, you need to have a plan. You might apply for another student visa to do more study. Or if you've completed an eligible qualification, you could look into the temporary graduate visa. That's the Subclass 485, which lets you stay and work. And of course, other visa pathways might open up for you too.
And that really brings us to our final question. The Subclass 500 visa is a fantastic opportunity, an amazing door opener, but it is temporary. So thinking about your long-term goals and what comes after your studies, even before you arrive, well, that's probably the smartest move you can make.